Hello, hello. This is Yuri with Moving Sales Professionals and Let's Talk Moving podcast. And with me today, I have Mario Reyes with South Bay Moving coming back. He's one of our favorites, so we like having him back. How are you doing today, Mario?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, Yuri.
Part of it is that sometimes people try to jump ahead of themselves without taking care of the basics.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I
That's
think the basics are always going to be the same, whether you're in a sales industry or you're in a moving industry or any other industry. The basics are generally still the basics.
look, it doesn't matter hockey, basketball, boxing. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
you're like I'm gonna do a stick safe, and then it's like, well, can you skate? Well, let's work on let's work on your skating first. like
right.
I know you want to do that. I'm gonna do the splits and block the goal. You can barely like get on the ice right now, so let's try to do that. Or you know,
Right.
I box and I teach guys like, like conditioned boxing. And they're like, well, I want to throw a hook and this uppercut. And I said, why don't you just work on a jab and a right hand, like a 1-2, like let's work on that. Let's master that first. It's the basics. And I think that we all need to get back to it. I know I do sometimes, and I have to remind myself sometimes I get out there and I'm like, hey man, can we just stick to the basics? Like let's forget about all the fluff, so to
Right.
speak.
And that's exactly as a call center owner, and I don't know if I'm the only one, but it could very well be the case that I'm the call center owner that's actually still on the phone with the guys by choice.
Right.
And it allows me to see the things that my guys are faced with every day when they're talking to people. It allows me to see, okay, is there different objections now that work that maybe didn't work before, or vice versa. Maybe they're working today and they didn't work yesterday. Is there different things that we can focus on that would allow us to get a yes that were not that good yesterday?
Right.
It's things like that that make a difference also that you got to focus on sometimes that we forget about. And now for a word from our sponsors. If you're a moving business owner, you may have already heard of Moversville, an email marketing service that helps moving companies increase, repeat, and referral business. But have you heard of Moversville Connect? Moversville Connect is an incredible resource for all things moving. They feature an array of vendors and services that cater specifically to the moving industry. You can find companies that provide moving software, moving sales services, marketing services, moving equipment providers, and much, much more. Visit moversville.com today to learn more.
Yuri, do you think at your call center, this is more of a question to you and maybe for information for the viewers, do you listen constantly, like old recordings of your guys, or are you more of you like to listen to them real time?
I like to listen to them real time. Sometimes I do listen to recordings, but realistically, I go to that stance when I see that there's no production or
Mm-hmm.
production is seriously slipping. That's when I start looking. That's when I start listening. Right. I mean, there's going
Right.
to be some fluctuations. A little bit more this month, a little bit more less next month. That happens, right? But if there's a dip, that's when you want to really see, okay, the dip just happened. Why is there a dip?
Right, correct. Yeah, no, you know what? I'm into that. I mean, you have to like stay on it, monitor it, and that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Sometimes it's look, I respect what everybody out there in the industry is doing, but guys, if February is the slowest month of the year, and it's the slowest month in the year, and you know that all the moving companies, all of your competitors around you are lowering their rates because they need to put jobs on the calendar and they need to get their guys working. Otherwise, those guys are going to go somewhere else and look for a different job, right? If that's what's going on, don't raise your prices.
Right,
You're hurting yourself. And then what it does something that's actually worse because when you do that, like like every other call that we as sales reps get, the customer saying you're too expensive, you're too expensive, you're too expensive. Guess what? You're too expensive.
hmm
And what you're also doing is that you're putting your salesperson at a disadvantage. So when you do that, don't come back to your salesperson and say, well, why aren't you booking as much as you used to? Well, you raised
right.
your prices. Everybody else didn't, but you did. I think as a moving company owner, you need to make a decision in a sense that you can make more money per truck as a well, how much you take home after the job is completed, right? You can make that decision. Okay, I want to make $300 profit each truck that goes out. Okay, that's fine. You can do that. Or you have more trucks on the road. Which one is it?
Right.
Because you can have 300, 400, whatever the heck profit you want to have per truck, right? But at the end of the day, you're going to have less trucks on the road. So what would you rather have? Two trucks a week out there, but you're making $400 profit? Or would you rather have 10 trucks on the road, 15 trucks on the road, but make maybe $200 profit, $150 profit?
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, you're going to make more money. Less
Right.
profit per truck, but more profit as a whole.
Right.
That's why companies like Piece of Cake were doing and are doing as well as they're doing because they're putting a lot of trucks on the road and versus sticking to that, okay, I need to make $200 per truck. They're saying, okay, let me make 75 bucks off this truck. But because they're getting 200 trucks on the road, they're making 15 grand a day.
Right.
So you got to look at the numbers and you got to make a decision. Which one is it? Because once again, if you're not getting enough trucks on the road weekly, you will lose you guys. And at the end of the day, whether you're willing to admit this or not, if I don't have salespeople, I don't have a call center. I have
Correct.
myself, and I can
Hmm.
cover three, four companies, but that's all I have.
Right.
I'm going to be overpaid, overworked, and exhausted, right? And sooner or later, that's going to affect my pay because I'm going to be exhausted, right?
Right.
Uh, and it's the same thing. Like you guys, if they're not working, they're going to leave. Everybody needs to pay their bills. Everybody gets used to a certain standard of living that they want to keep. They definitely don't want to lower their standard of living. They want to raise
Now,
it or at least at the very least maintain what they have if they're happy with what they have. Does your company need more creative marketing and ad campaigns to improve traffic and organic leads? Well, Moving Sales Professionals has a solution for you. We have partnered with social media marketing agency that has over 300 million views on their ads and videos across social media, and they have generated over $35 million for their clients over the last 10 years alone. Their services include content creation, social media ads, pay-per-click campaigns, website and funnel development, Google Ads, email marketing campaigns, lead generation, and much, much more. For limited time only, they have discounted rates for their services. Sign up for a free consultation call with us via our Calendly link on our website or below this video.
well, we were crickets a lot of sectors out here in Northern California for a while, like for like 60 days. I mean, it was bad. Corporate, office, everybody was like kind of scrounging around. It's picking up now everywhere. Like I said, not just one sector, but everywhere. So that's a good sign. And the office moving sector, it's picking up, and that doesn't usually happen until October. So that's a good sign that that's picking
Sure.
up. Like I said, yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Been in here forever. Like I said, it was. I've never gotten pummeled like I got pummeled this winter. So I'm just glad I'm here and it's June and making money.
Yeah, I mean, things slowed down. I wouldn't say that I got pummeled, but things definitely slowed down. I think we stayed within the realm. I think we still made what we needed to make. Did we make more than anticipated? No.
Yeah,
But
we had
I don't think we made less. I think we stayed more or less consistent. I mean, obviously you can't match summer production, so that's
well
not
we
even.
we had a lot of issues with non-payers, not
Yeah.
like CODs, but just like large companies that normally were good, like paying that they're like, yeah, they're not paying. Like, it takes forever to drag money out of them. A lot of guys used
Yeah.
to be like net 30, net 45. They're trying to pay you in 80, 90 days. And it's like, ooh, we can't do this. Yeah,
Well,
it's
to be frank, I have those like my clients are not that big, but the majority of them, but I'm having those issues too. Sometimes it's like getting paid for the work that you've done. Sometimes it's like pulling teeth. And
no. And
it's
so
very difficult
that's what I've
at
seen more
times.
than anything. That's like, that's why I said I got pummeled because we do a lot of jobs that are bill, not as many COD jobs. But we're starting to. We got a real good sales funnel going. We finally making real traction in the COD business, which we never really did before. We just did a lot of United States military. We had account work. We had restoration contracts, and those are all starting to come back. Um,
Sure.
they got away from us a little bit, and then they wanted, some of my clients, they went elsewhere and then found out that like
The
it
grass is not
it
greener on the
wasn't
other
greener. So
side.
so now they're back and yeah.
Right.
So I mean, like it happens, but it was like for me, it was like the perfect storm. But like I said, I'm still here, still fighting it and fighting the good fight, and that's all you can do. The traditional lead sources equate, I don't want to pick on equate media. Like I think they're like their days are not numbered, but they're like, it's changing. And so
They're
what do
just
you
not, they're like I said, it's just you gotta, as a moving company, can you still get some value out of it? Perhaps. But don't expect to make a killing or don't expect to match the production that you've had in the past. I mean, when
mm,
I got into this industry overall, what they said at the time when I got into it, and that, granted it was before we became more prevalent, before other call centers picked up and started doing things, because we are at this point we're the longest running. We've been around longer than anybody else.
mm,
But before I got into it, they used to say if you book 3%, that was a good number. And
yeah,
if you did
right, right.
five, it was great. And if you
It,
did
it,
anything beyond that, it was amazing, you know. But 3% was an industry average
mm-hmm,
at the time where industry was mainly focused on leads. There wasn't Google to the extent, there wasn't a lot of the other stuff. There wasn't a lot
not
of
not a lot of
inbound,
social
there
media.
wasn't a lot of social media. There was yellow pages, you know, there was a lot of this like people were taking out ads and whatever. Right, newspapers and like I said, the yellow pages and other places like that. So there, you didn't have social media, and you didn't have, at least not to that extent, not the way we see it today. You definitely didn't have the things happening like they're happening right now, right? And the lead providers were better because they were just there was better production that you could, it was something you could touch. You get something
Right.
that you could see. And I know when I just started, I was started off in California. I was coming from a serious sales side of things. I was doing fundraising for nonprofits. That's where I started. And for me, booking jobs for moving was like, it was so simple. After asking people that would give $50,000 charitable contribution to Sierra Club for $100,000. After that, asking somebody to book a moving job is like walk in the park. It was so simple for me.
Wow.
I can't speak for everybody, but for me, it was simple. When I started first moving company, I was probably booking somewhere between 10 and 20 jobs daily, every single day.
For those that don't know that out there, Yuri's a walking, talking sales machine. It's like he really is. So I think that, I'm always telling, like, I tell my wife this, like, she's kind of understated, and I'm like, hey, if you have natural talent, like to me, like I always go back to athletics, and so I'll tell all the viewers this. There's three kind of athletes, and this is the WAM. That's world according to Mario. But if you think about it, it's like that. It's there's athletes that are talented, very talented, but they're not really hard workers. And those are the guys that sometimes you get in trouble, or gals, and they just don't seem to reach potential. Then
Right.
most of the athletes are pretty good, but they're hard workers, so they make it in the league and they're making a life or whatever you want to call it. Then every once in a while, you have the person that has all the natural talent, they're a hard worker, and those are the goats. That's the Jordans or whatever. So Yuri is a hard worker, and he's got a natural talent. So like he has a gift of gab, and then he's a hard worker. So it's not like he's just all talk. He really backs up. We don't, like, for those that don't know, we don't do any business anymore, but we still have remained friends. But Yuri would, if there was a problem, he would jump right on it. Like as a sales professional, you would be like, oh, well, that's some kind of resolution. It could be a claim. It could be something that someone didn't pay. He always would jump right in the middle of it and say, hey, and get a solution for you. So I would say that moving sales professionals, if you go that way, Yuri's a solutionist. A lot of people are talkers and they are great to point out problems, but they have no solution
I
for the
talk too
problem.
much, so I don't know what you're
Uh,
talking about.
look, everybody says I talk a lot too. It's okay, man. Like the thing about it is, but if you're coming up with something, then that's the answer, and then you've always been able to come up with a solution. And so,
I
I
mean,
almost
for
dare
me,
people
for
to come
me,
up with a
this is
solution.
fun. For me, honestly, especially at this point, this is not really even a job. It's something that I got to a point that's not where I started, by the way, because where I started is that I was good at what I did, but I was not looking to make sales my career, right? But as time went on, I came, like I said, to a conclusion that I'm very good at what I do, and I might as well stick with it. And once I basically came up to that decision or that determination, I just once came to that conclusion, it just made it a lot easier, and I actually started enjoying doing what I'm doing a lot more. It really is something that comes natural to me. It's something that I can do this in my sleep. I can do it on the bad day. I can do it when I'm sick. I can do it when I'm whatever. It's just not complicated for me. That's not the same thing for everybody. I talk too much, and that's probably part of it, or a big part of it. My kids are worse. So, but they talk more than I do.
We all are who we are. And I think that we have to accept everybody for who they are and then see what great points they bring and not say, oh, yeah, put up a shield and like just listen. You have to do everything they say and learn and get knowledge from whether they talk a lot, they talk a little, they have something, and then utilize everybody's strengths and know everyone's weaknesses and then take the things that are the strengths and mold them into your own style. I do think that, again, I think that you're a professional. You stay on it. Anybody that doesn't know Yuri, if you look up in the dictionary, well, I guess it'd be Google now, under persistence, you'd probably see a picture of
Yeah, that
Yuri.
would be me.
You'd probably see a picture of Yuri smiling, like with the moving sales professional banner in the back. But a little bit like I know I've talked about this before in a couple past podcasts, but one of the reasons it sold me with Yuri is that like so even like the sales teams, like if you ever go on like Grant Cardone or any sales thing, it's like 7 to 12 touches to get to actually get a client. I think that Yuri doubled that with me. He was on me so much that I was like, okay, okay, I'll try you. Let's give
I
it a
give
shot.
up. I give
I
up.
give up. I
Granted, this
give
was
up.
in the earlier stages of the company and everything else but I mean, I'm still there. It's just at this point we're more established. So it's like I don't feel that I need to sell myself as much as I used to when I started. Now, one of the problems that you run into is like the people's preconceptions of what they think they should be paying for sales. But here's the thing, guys. I know you try to do that, but uh, don't go cheap on the sales department. Now, do I think that sales reps should be paid hourly? Absolutely not. I'll be the first person to tell you. And any salesman out there that's listening to this, I'm sorry, guys.
Mm-hmm.
But too many of you sit on your ass and do what you're not what you don't do what you're supposed to be doing if we just pay you by the hour. It just
Why?
does not work.
Why do you think that? What's
Because
your
some people are perfectly fine getting that base.
mm-hmm.
And when they get that base, they know they're going to bake that base no matter what, whether they're good, whether they're bad, whether they feel like doing follow-ups today or whether they don't feel like doing follow-ups today. They know that they're going to make that money. So
Right.
there's no way around that. And like to me, unless you're hungry and you're hungry all the time, and don't get me wrong, I have a couple of reps that used to be hourly. I started this business, we were doing hourly and commission, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I still have reps in-house now that for them, I could have easily kept them on hourly and commission and they would still be hungry and they would still produce. But that's not the case for everybody. And
No, no, I agree with
if
you.
you stick with that model, you're going to lose more money than you make
Correct.
because there's going to be people that are going to be perfectly content with sitting on their ass and collecting that base.
What would
They're not going to take the extra steps that it takes sometimes to book a job. Now, if your commission and your money depends on you taking those steps, you will take them because you
okay?
don't have a choice. If you
I
don't take them,
I
you
got
won't get paid.
I got a question for you then. Okay, the late Dave Grable would always say he would. He's old school. Like he's passed away. Had a massive company. Sometimes he would say if you that you have to be careful with an all COD. I mean all commission salesperson because they'll may cut a bad deal to pay their rent. how would you guard against that?
Well, here's the
What's your
thing.
opinion
I
on
do,
that?
I first of all, I do things differently. We're not, unlike everybody else that's there competing against me, we're not done at the point of sales. So we're still working with the customers all the way through the move. So in
Hmm.
other words, if my rep lowballs a customer to book a job, they're the ones that are going to have to deal with the aftermath on the day of the move. They're the ones that are going to have to deal with the customer. They're the ones that are going to have to deal with a company owner that's not going to be happy about it. Frankly, if they mess up really bad, they're not going to get paid. If it's
So,
a really big bad screw up, they're not getting paid. So it's
so,
in their best
so you,
interest to do things right.
so you would say that you have a resolutionist that
Absolutely.
like by choosing moving sales professional, you have a little bit of a resolutionist you hire
Well,
too.
you got customer service. That's part of the move days. So if you guys shows up and it's a much bigger job, the person that booked it is going to communicate that. We're not going to be dealing, oh, Yuri said this or Yuri said that or Yuri said that packing materials were included. No, 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 no. It's not going to go like that because we're going to get Yuri on the phone and Yuri is going to tell you, no, 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 that's not what I told you. You know it's not what
No,
I told you. And here's a, Ring Central recording that tells you that that's not what I told you.
right. And so that's one of the services that goes along with choosing
Absolutely.
moving sales professional. Yeah,
Absolutely.
no, that's good, man. I like that, and that's good to push it out to the audience like that because, you know, like you said, don't go cheap on sales, but it's just like ways to quantify it. To me, it's like,
Yeah,
what?
what we charge is realistic if you consider what you're getting for what you're paying.
Right, right.
You
No,
get
that's what I'm
realistically,
bringing
you
up.
don't just get a salesperson, you also get customer service. You
Hmm.
don't just get I'm booking it for this price and if there's issues on the move, it's your problem. You get company that's actually going to be covering for that stuff. So they're like we're responsible for what we book. We're going to talk to the customer. Even, and frankly, we're going to tell the customer sometimes it's my fault if it's my fault,
Right,
and at that particular point, I may, if it's a really bad situation, I may take cut of my commission to take care of your customer. If it's my screw up, I will
right.
certainly take charge of that. But Mario, we can talk about this for a very long time. We're both talkers. At this point, I need to get going, and it's
And
been
I
a
know you do too.
pleasure. It's been a pleasure, pleasure, pleasure as always having you. Thank
It,
you
it
very much for joining me.
absolutely, and thank you as well. And my closing thought is, if you don't do it right, make it right. We all make mistakes out there, and
Yeah,
slowly
you
you
got
just
to
have
make
to
it
make
right
it
to your
right. Yeah,
customers.
yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
And like I always say, the world moves on its own, so let the professionals move yours for you. Thank you very much for joining me. Please like, please subscribe, please support Mario and South Bay Moving. Please support Moving Sales Professionals. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk again soon.